Hi guys, welcome back to the Shine podcast. I'm Brianna and my co-host is here.
Yeah, I'm Ava.
She's Ava. And today we're going to talk about what being a teenager is like and in general what hardships we have and what it's like to live the life that we're living now and that we have been living. So we have our little guests here. We have Demian, who we all know very well. And then we have Julia here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. I'm a senior at Napa High. What else do they need to know about me?
It's your birthday.
Today is my birthday. I'm 18.
It's your birthday. Yay.
Happy birthday. Thank you guys. Just sing.
It's your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And you're 18 now, which is perfect. So what do you think about how was it being a teenager? Because now you're not.
I mean,
Well,
I technically
18.
am.
A little, maybe.
Yeah, I'm an
18,
old
19,
teenager.
teen.
Almost out. We're all almost. Well, most of us are almost
You're
out.
at the end.
Yeah. Honestly, I love being a teenager, guys. I personally have had a really good experience. I feel like it's like a preview of adulthood. So it's like things aren't that serious yet. Like the world is, I'm lucky to have the situation, but like I feel like the world's not going to end if I make a mistake. I'm just kind of like living my life, but also learning like how to drive a car, like how to have my own money. And it's just, I love being a teenage girl, you know?
Right? Oh my god, it's so real. It's so fun. I love it.
It's so like unserious.
Right? Like no one cares. I don't care. That's for sure. Yeah, so you definitely say that being a teenager is like something that you're like soaking it in. Like it's not something that you're like, oh my god, I wish it was over. Or like,
oh
I'm so
no,
glad.
absolutely not. I appreciate like being at this age, like being an older teen, way more than being 13 was tough. I don't know about you guys. Like middle school was. I don't think anyone really has a good time in middle school. I don't know. Maybe some people do, but like it's tough to look back on. But like you know, being a little bit older, being towards the end of high school, I feel really like comfortable with myself relatively and with like sort of where I'm going in life. I feel more relaxed about everything now as opposed to like my earlier teenage years. And not that I blame my younger self for that, but
It's definitely a journey, you'd
Yeah.
say. You'd figure it out.
yeah.
Most of it.
I think that as you get to like 16, 17, you start to really like figure out who you are, what you want to do with your life. I feel like it gets more comfortable. You become like less insecure with yourself. Like
Yeah, and you start to like make your real friends, I feel like. Yeah.
That's real. It's a lot of trial and error, I think, being a teenager, but I love it. I love trialing and erroring. It's beautiful.
I feel like throughout like my like middle school years and like early high school years, I feel like I've always wanted to like grow up faster, but I feel like now that I'm here, I'm like I do not want to get any older. Like I think I'm good at 17,
Right,
honestly.
like
maybe
pause.
18, but like
Thank you.
It's like all the movies are set at this age. Like all the coming of age movies.
I'm
yeah,
movie
like-
age, guys.
Yeah, and it's for a reason. It's nice. I feel like it's very like dramatic years. Like every week, it's like having a breakdown over something, and like. But it's like at the end of the day, it like feel like, you know, if you're in a safe situation, it's not the end of the world, and you learn more about yourself, and you make mistakes, and everything is so like, I guess like I want to say like or elastic at this age that you can kind of take whatever path you want, and there's a lot of freedom in it.
Yeah, like nothing's set in stone yet. So you can just like mess around, have fun with it. And
Yeah, it's scary, and it's emotionally it's like a little roller coaster, but it's fun. I think there's a lot of fun in it.
Do you think it's fun, Damien? What was your life like?
because you're 18 too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't remind me. Funnily enough, I don't think I have quite the same perspective on it that you guys do. For me,
Get out. No, I'm just kidding.
Not allowed.
For me, I think these past few years, I might have been taking a little too seriously. You know, with respect to classes, college prep, and I mean, to be honest, I'm nowhere near being the student I want to be for college admissions, as I'm already seeing as decisions are coming out.
Oh, but it's more than
But-
college, Damien.
Yeah, but
It's
like
more than that.
still, once you get that idea in your head, it's hard to shake off like thinking, oh, everything I'm doing needs to be for college, and especially as we kind of mentioned with our first episode, actually, being like a first gen college applicant, it makes it a little bit more, gives a lot more weight. Like, oh yeah, you have to go to college because, you know, no one before you, I mean, obviously I have people in my family that have gone to college, but like directly before me, my
Like immediate family.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I've not specifically because of that, due to a bunch of other just general life factors. I think I've had a harder time taking my life unseriously within the teen years, and so I wouldn't say like my experience has been quite on the same level as you guys. Not to say that I'm kind of like not trying to figure things out and enjoy youth. There's still plenty of aspects of youth that I've gotten to enjoy and live through that I'm genuinely grateful for, but I think for me, it might be just my pessimistic mentality, but it's harder to focus on those aspects.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I think that like during your senior year of high school, it's like your first taste of reality. Like you said, with the college decisions and everything. Like when you're a kid, it's like everyone gets a reward. Like everyone, you know, you're at a science fair. Everybody gets a medal or like ribbon or whatever. But then once you get to your senior year of high school, you're applying to colleges. You're like, not everybody gets into those schools. You know what I mean? So it's like in the real world, like not everything is gonna turn out your way, and like, you know, not everything's gonna be how you expect it. So.
And it's a lot of pressure too. Like we were saying, like the fun aspect of like we get to like kind of figure out our identity and like step into the real world and figure out who we are in that. Like it's also at the same time like there's a lot of there can be a lot of expectation around that, and like family pressures and just, you know, self pressures of who you think you're supposed to be versus maybe where you're at right now.
Yeah, and I feel like disappointment is very scary too. Like, yeah, you want to have fun and you want to do your silly little teenage things, but it's also like, damn, like my mom might be real disappointed in me, or then you think that it's like, is it even all that worth it, you know, to be able to live your life? Because like Demian said, like you're thinking so much and you're focusing so much on college and your future that you're like, you're putting all your time and your energy into that, and it does get hard and it does suck because you're kind of like just so overwhelmed from all of that, and you don't really see it as fun. I guess you don't really see it as like unserious because you're focusing so much on something that is like tremendously serious, like college and all that. How's college going for you, Julia?
Oh my gosh, I've been getting a lot of good news lately and a lot of bad news. It's, you know, it's really mixed. It's a really like turbulent time. I feel like what you mean with like, I'm not a first generation college applicant, but I am first generation in the States. So it's not exactly the same experience, but I feel like I can relate to some of what you're saying of like, you know, like kind of feeling the weight of like, for me it feels like sometimes like feeling the weight of my entire, like all of my ancestors is like, oh, they brought you to the United States, they worked so hard.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know if your parents tell you all the time. Mine do.
That immigrant parent guilt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not to blame my parents or anything, it's just the nature of being the child of immigrant parents that makes it so that you feel like you kind of have to be the boundary breaker as opposed to following the beaten path, if that makes any sense.
For sure. And like, do you have siblings, like older siblings or younger siblings?
I do not. It's
okay,
it's
so it
just
makes it like
me.
a million times harder.
I'm
Yeah, that's hard.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say harder, just like a very different dynamic.
Yeah.
It's just like, instead of having, you know, different expectations spread across multiple children, it's just like all focused on me, which positives and negatives, you know.
Yeah.
Positives and negatives.
Yeah.
Julia, you only have like 2 younger siblings, right?
Yeah, I'm the oldest with 2 younger siblings, and I love my younger siblings. I'm really close to them, but at the same time, I feel like I feel like this is kind of a self-inflicted, like this is in my head kind of, but at the same time, I feel like I have a pressure to like set an expectation,
Like be a
for
role
them.
model.
Yeah, be a role model, and also kind of take pressure off of them. Like I have this kind of thought is like, if I succeed, then like there's not going to be that much pressure on them to also succeed. It's like we just need, I don't even know like what the reasoning or what the logic of that is, but I definitely feel a pressure to like do well for my younger siblings and for my family. I want to say like I think last week I was waitlisted from a school. I got like an email that I was waitlisted from a school that I honestly did not really want to go to. Like if I got in, I wouldn't go there, but I was like losing my mind.
No,
So
that
sad.
was me all of last week. I got waitlisted from like my dream school, and it was just like a shot. Oh my god! But
Oh,
yeah.
let me see, Lily.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just like, I don't know if it was just like the feeling of rejection or just the like
The
kind of
reality
It's so
reality
it's
hit.
so
Yeah.
weird because it's not even rejection. It's just like a maybe. Like maybe we're not
But
too
then
sure.
the anticipation keeps going on.
Right? So it's like, am I in or not? Like, say yes or
Yeah.
no. Like, what do you mean I'm waitlisting?
Yeah.
Like, just wait.
And
Maybe.
like logically, I knew I was like, you know what? Like a college doesn't define my worth. Like I have other options. Like it'll be fine. But at the same time, like just on a kind of like physical level, I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
the world's gonna end. Like
That's how I feel too. I'm like, yeah, college isn't that big of a deal. Like, it doesn't matter where I go, but at the same time, it does matter where I go. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted to go there.
I mean, aren't we as humans just inherently emotional? Like, no matter what our logical brain says, our monkey brain says, ah, you know? You know?
Absolutely.
Do we know?
No, I know what you mean. It's like I joke a lot. It's like my brain thinks it's being attacked by a wild animal, and there's nothing here. But like I'm like in my little
It's me.
like, fight
I'm
or
the wild
flight.
animal.
No, the wild animal. It's within
It's
me.
me.
It's the
But-
dog.
It's the dog in me.
But like
It's the true
neurologically
wolves.
speaking, from what I know, there's very similar responses within the chemistry of our brain to like perceived emotional threats and like actual physical threats.
Yeah, because I feel like we have a survival need. Like we evolved to need to belong and feel like we're accepted and feel like we're good enough because we evolved to, you know, be social and be like survive in crowds.
Okay, I have another question. Do you guys think, because I wrote this question down and then I was trying to answer it like in my head, but then I was like, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer. I don't know, it's really weird. But it was like, do you think like all teenagers, like for example, like teenagers at your school, like whatever, people in your grade or whatever, like do you think they all have like a shared teenage experience? Like do you think it's the same, or do you think it's like every single person is exactly different? Because I was trying to answer this question and I was like, obviously I feel like every person is different. Obviously every person has a different experience when they're teenagers. But it's like, you hear about this like, I've never had an original experience. So it's like, do we have like a shared experience? I was like, I don't know. It's weird. And then I realized it more when we're filming episodes. And then I'm like, I don't know if that's just me though. And then you guys are like, no, that's me too. And I'm like, wait a minute.
There's a lot of like niche, like shared experience. So I know exactly what you mean. I think especially with like social media becoming a real thing, it's like easier for you to like share your experiences and everything, and like we're consuming like the same media and stuff like that. So that influences.
So you like think the same and then you do the same
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, interesting. I didn't think about social media.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface level, when you asked that question, my first reaction, like you said, is like absolutely not. Like we all have such different backgrounds and situations and, you know, just day-to-day occurrences. But I think there are a lot of things that we all have in common. And I think we all, on some level, we all go through the same things, more or less. Like we're all growing up, especially if you talk about, like, was your question like within Napa or like within, you said it within our school?
Yeah, like within your school, within your grade. Because I feel like those are like the ones that you kind of notice more.
Yeah. No, I think there are like cultural experiences that we all have. I think that's, you know, I don't know how culture is defined, but for me it's like, you know, something in the back of your brain that's like, oh, it's just kind of a given, this happens, and it's like kind of a lens of the world. And I think we all kind of have that in common for the most part. Like everyone knows what it's, mostly everyone knows what it's like to feel lonely or to feel rejected or to feel like you're figuring yourself out. What do you think, Demian?
Okay, I'm gonna use a metaphor to
No.
explain what I think.
Excited already.
Okay, so the way I see it, the idea of like teenage experiences, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. Hear me
Okay,
out.
wait.
Hear me out. Everyone around us comes from such different backgrounds, such different families, such different lived experiences that no two spaghetti strands will start in the same place. And yet they weave together, cross over each other, go over, under, through. It's just...
How did you think of this?
I know.
Bro,
Did you
did
just come up with that?
I just came up with this, yeah.
Creative.
But like, basically what I'm saying is no matter where we start, which path we take or where we end, there's just a lot of crossroads that we all come across, like you guys were saying.
There's an overlap.
Yeah. And so I think that kind of is sort of a way to think about the idea of everyone having a completely unique experience throughout their teenage life, yet also having a lot of shared experiences with the people around them and the people their age.
That's so like existential. That's so like multiversey.
Wow. I think I
like
saw that in a movie somewhere.
It's definitely Spider-Man.
Definitely Spider-Man movie.
I don't know. It's just thinking of it that way made the most sense to me.
I mean, I think the teenage experience is like generational, because like if you watch like coming of age movies, even though they're like decades old, you still relate to them, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
so each generation is a different bowl of spaghetti, or
if you want,
Yeah, I don't know.
what
why
does
we're
each
still
bowl
thinking about the spaghetti.
represent?
You're hungry.
for your information, I just had the
Spaghetti?
snacks
Oh.
that are provided behind the scenes here in the SHINEcast studio.
Where do we go from that?
It's like
bro?
a product.
Yeah, now what am I
placement.
supposed to transition into?
But that was an ad.
Let's talk about
that
Euphoria
now?
because I just got really upset knowing that the conference wasn't filmed and I kind of spat so much on that.
Background, guys, we just went to like a mental health conference a few days ago. You will have seen us talking at it in.
We didn't film it.
No, we filmed the Janet Taylor interview.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not the
but-
conference.
Well,
This
that
is
was
the
kind
same
of at the
thing.
For
conference.
Shine?
No, the Friday one.
We did like a live
The
Shine
yeah.
podcast thing. at the
We did an example live podcast at this event, and it was
That
super
one was
cool.
so good.
Yeah, it was
And-
about the same topic.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Euphoria, go.
Euphoria.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Euphoria?
Well, I haven't seen it. I
What?
always hear
Oh.
everyone talking about it. I know I need to get. I don't remember my HBO login.
Oh, okay.
No, I was
the
talking
issue.
with Julia about this before we started filming, and I told her how so. Can I curse on this?
Sure.
We can poop
Okay.
it out.
Anyway.
You remember they've told us we could curse on it. We just never
Oh yeah,
do.
we never do.
We never
We
do.
should curse more on this podcast. I feel
I say yeah.
Some people in the room look a little reluctant, like a little
What people in the room?
contrarian to this.
Anyway, as I was saying, the reason why I like Euphoria, hear me out, is because it's so fucking funny. I cannot get through one episode
Said a bad
without laughing so hard. It's just because it's so ridiculous. It's
But
so
Zendaya-
You
ridiculous.
didn't find it entertaining like in any aspect.
I found it entertaining because it was ridiculous.
Okay, but you didn't like the cinematography.
Oh, I love the cinematography.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a film nerd for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, this is our editor.
Yeah.
Zendaya, glitter on her face.
No, I literally watched so many YouTube videos analyzing the cinematography of the show. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I the plot's poorly written. Hilarious, but poorly written. Anyway, what do you have to say about Euphoria, Brianna?
Well, now I can't say anything about Euphoria because I thought Julia watched it.
Well, I mean, we could talk about
Well,
TV in general. I
Yeah, I
mean,
can
Or
talk
may-
about like
well-
media expectations.
what's your
or
favorite
whatever.
coming of age movie or like TV show or
Ooh,
like?
that's I don't know. What just any coming of age.
Like-
Like
Yeah.
the first coming of age thing that comes to mind for me is like Lady Bird. Or,
Oh
like,
my
I love Lady
Perks of
Bird.
Being a Wallflower.
Perks of Being- oh, that's
Perks
also
of
yeah,
one.
I love that movie.
That's
Oh my
I love
God.
that movie too.
Oh my
Trying to
god, can we
think
just
of
talk
other
about movies?
ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's-
Well, these are
let's
positive
turn this
movie
into
versions of
podcast.
like.
to a movie
No,
podcast.
those are good like teenage representations
Yeah.
though. Like I
Mhm.
was like trying to like talk bad about Euphoria because I was like it has nothing to do with like what teenagers are going through. But like Lady Bird and Perks is so good.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Lady Bird. My dad
have
watched
to
Lady
watch
Bird
Lady
before
Bird.
I watched Lady Bird.
It was set in Sac. They were in Sacramento.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I want to watch it so bad, but I never like.
It's so
I'm in the
relevant
mood. I, like,
to-
It's so
I
good.
Oh
need
yeah,
to-
you have.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
to be in the mood to watch
it's
Lady
so
Bird.
relevant because I watched Lady Bird years ago and then I watched it again like this year and I was like, damn, because it was like her last year of high school where she was going to college and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, and then she misses her mom and I was like, ah. It's so good, so good.
Have you guys seen Booksmart?
I was gonna mention that. Is that the one where they're like nerds throughout high school and then they find out that
That everyone else got into good
Yeah.
school.
I was gonna
That's a relevant.
when you were
one.
talking about like balancing like your life with like extra like,
Yes,
things for college. and
Yeah,
then-
I watched
That's
this one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
one's
feel
a
like
good
that's a different kind of like humor. I feel like that's like a different vibe. Like it's a little more like lighthearted.
Mhm.
It's definitely more
that's a
like
good one, too.
raunchy. It's good though. I think.
Yeah.
It's goofy. It's silly.
It is.
It
It
is.
doesn't take itself.
Lady
too
Bird and
seriously.
Perks just, like, kills
Why am I
you.
agreeing? I haven't even seen that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but like I know the. I know
Damian's
the
like, yeah,
message.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, like totally, guys. I agree with you blindly.
I love Booksmart. Yep.
Mm.
But I just feel like, oh my god, Lady Bird. Oh my god, I want to watch that movie when I get home. Lady Bird and Perks of Being a Wallflower is just so accurate. And I feel like they're just so beautifully written. Like they're just such good movies.
And they do
Damian-
talk about like the topics like Euphoria talks about like drugs and sex and all that, but it's still like
Lady Bird
it-
definitely covers a lot of like
yeah, but it's in a
Mhm.
way that's not glamorized. It's like it's just more authentic. Like
I gotta say, I think going back to Perks of Being a Wallflower, I think comparing the book and the movie, they have like very distinct identities with regards to their interpretation of quote being a teen, and yet they're so well, of course they have to be similar because they're
the
same thing, but like I find it interesting how the book manages to convey somehow a totally unique
I think
facet of that.
Yeah, I think it was just because the book, it was him writing, right? It was him writing like, oh, today I met this girl and blah 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 blah. And I am sorry to say that I did watch the movie before I read the book. I watched the movie and then I found the book and I was like, okay, I watched the movie and I loved it. Let me read the book. And then I finished it hella fast. But I think it was just because he was writing letters to no one, right? Or no, he was writing them to like some anonymous person in like the middle of nowhere, I think.
I think they like he revealed who it was at some point and it was like semi-relevant to the story.
I
but
forgot.
Was
I
it
don't
to
know.
his friend that died?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I read it a while ago.
Yeah, but he was just like writing letters. It was like his own experience. And I don't know how they translated that in the movie because it's so fast. It's like it covers like a whole year. So to be able to cover that whole year in like an hour movie.
And I think the author played a role in like the directing of it. So
yeah. But it was a good movie.
I think the movie was very like romanticized compared to the book, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think they were both very good, but I think the book was a little bit like it went more. It's a book. It's gonna go more into depth of like the experience and the details.
Yeah, because there's no budget. He's just writing.
Right. It's a little more serious. Also, like it reminds me of the 13 Reasons Why.
Oh my god,
guys!
Oh my god. You had to be there.
You had to be.
It's really something. You know, I'm not pro 13 Reasons Why. I watched the first season and I read the book. I liked the book more.
The book, yeah, it was decent. And the
book
first season
was
came out, I was like,
yeah.
Well, then they started dragging it on. So.
Right.
Didn't they start getting powers? Or am I thinking about it?
That was Riverdale.
Oh, Riverdale. Sorry.
In 13 Reasons Why, they turned it into a murder mystery, and then I was like, oh,
what is going on? Yeah, I definitely think Perks of Being a Wallflower was more like mental health situated because he was struggling and he was like suicidal, and so there were like more mental health in the book. I felt like they were focusing more on his mental health, and in the movie they had Emma Watson in there and it was romanticized. Like you're right, like it was just so like lovey-dovey, and then they showed like his mental health for like 10 minutes and I was like, whoa. When I watched the movie I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and some of the dynamics are kind of questionable, like the age differences and everything, so it's like,
yeah. Okay,
Anyway.
that's it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say bye? Bye.
Bye.
Bye.